All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Balance and Core webinar. We're really excited to talk about this topic. Isla and I have been meeting about this for the last few weeks, and I feel like every time we met, we got more excited and like thought about more things to put in the presentation. So we've got a lot to get through today, but we're really excited. As a reminder, this will be recorded and the slides will be posted afterwards as well. So there will be links in the slides as we go along. You will have access to all of those. We'll post them on the Slack channel and then in this chat. And then, as always, this is for educational purposes only and not to be interpreted as medical advice. We are not your doctor, but we would love to kind of guide you with the information we know based on our profession. So little intros. My name is Kimber. I'm the program manager in Colorado Springs. I feel like I have gotten more of a passion for balance since I injured my foot a few years ago. I had to work really hard to get the strength in my ankle back, and a lot of it was balance exercises on not so stable surfaces. And I feel like I gained more strength than I ever had in that ankle. So I was able to start doing those on the other ankle that I thought was perfectly healthy. So that's kind of when my passion for balance started. Since then, we started the Balance Break and Cube Fit. And then I've just seen so many people's like quality of life improve just by practicing, implementing a balanced practice in their daily life. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this topic today, but I'm going to pass it over to Isla so she can introduce herself.
Yeah, my name is Isla. I'm in the program manager in Fort Collins, Colorado. Um, I think that balance for me, I started to get more interested in it when I started working with clients from like a variety of different backgrounds. Whether they're like 20 and super athletic or 75 and need extra help with balance. I've found that everyone kind of needs help with balance. And they can be challenged at different levels, but same thing Kimber said, it's changed a lot of people's lives and I can see it. And they don't normally come to me for balance, but everyone could use some help with it, I've realized. So it's fun to throw different challenges at people, whether they're super simple exercises or, more challenging with different tools. But yeah, it's a little bit about me and what I think about balance.
Awesome. Thanks, Isla.
Mhm.
All right, so a little bit of what we're going to cover today. We're going to first define balance, what it is, the different types of balance that we'll be discussing today. We're going to go into some balance myths, some true false questions. And then we're going to talk about core stability and how that is incorporated in balance and how important it is in a balanced practice. And then we'll get into balance in everyday life, how it can improve the quality of life, and how to incorporate it in your daily life. And then we'll talk about building a balance routine, and we're going to give you some good balance exercises that you can incorporate into your routine. And then as always, we will leave time for questions. So jumping in, let's define balance first. I'm sure we all know kind of what it is, but there's a lot of little nuances and different things. So we just want to make sure we have like a good understanding as we jump in. So balance is a complex neuromuscular skill that involves the integration of multiple sensory systems and motor responses. That's a lot of fancy words to describe balance, but it refers to the body's ability to maintain its line of gravity within its base of support, whether that's stationary or moving, like we've been chatting about already. When we talk about balance in general, but especially in the context of exercise, there are two different categories we think of. We think of static balance and dynamic balance. Static balance is maintaining balance while stationary. This would be like standing on 1 feet. It can even be standing on 2 feet, right? Especially if there's something underneath you that's not stable, like a boat. And then dynamic balance is maintaining balance while moving. So this can be like walking, turning, as someone just said, or transitioning between positions. So like weight shifting from one foot to the next, that's moving. Another distinction to note in the is the difference between balance versus stability. While balance refers to the state when an object maintains equilibrium, stability refers to the degree of resistance an object can withstand before that balance is lost. You will notice that through this presentation, we will use those terms interchangeably because we're referring to both processes. So a lot of times we have to maintain stability because there's external forces around us at all times that are kind of knocking that balance off that base of support. So as humans, we are able to control our balance through postural control mechanisms. This system allows us to react to any threat to our stability by activating muscles to counteract the gravitational forces. Whether we know it or not, our muscles start to activate when something pushes us off balance or even just when we're walking. We lose balance when our line of gravity moves outside of that base of support. You can kind of see a picture of that on the slide. But our postural control mechanisms allow us to maintain balance even when this occurs. So when we practice balance, because it will always be a practice no matter how great your balance gets, you will always need to practice it. When we practice it, we are strengthening this postural control mechanism so that our body is more able to react effectively to those things that try to push us off balance. So now we're going to get into some true false questions about balance. I will read the statement aloud when it pops up on the screen, and then I would love for you guys to put true or false in the chat, depending on what you think. So the first one, balance problems are a normal part of aging. Go ahead and put that in the chat. True or false? See some trues coming through. I see a false. Love it. Love it. Amazing. I like that we have both answers. That's exciting. Makes it exciting. You guys keep sending them. But the answer is true. Balance issues do become more common with age. This is because of a combination of factors affecting the sensory systems of the body, also the musculoskeletal system and nervous system. So these can include changes in vision that naturally occur with age, depth perception, equilibrium, muscle strength, joint health, nerve function, and so much more. Sadly, as we age, things degrade over time, but this does not mean you are doomed to have bad balance. We can counteract these changes, but our bodies and aging is working against us. But having a regular routine that challenges our balance can help us maintain and even improve balance no matter our age. All right, next one. You were born with either good balance or bad balance, and it cannot be changed. Now, don't get this confused with coordination. Coordination is different. Just because you can't follow a few dance moves doesn't mean you have bad balance. Okay, I see some falses, some trues. Love it. A lot of falses. And that is correct. This is false. Balance is a completely a skill that can be taught and improved with practice and strength. All right, number 3, factors like poor sleep, stress, and lack of strength in fitness can impact balance. True or false? I see both. True. Lots of trues. Lots of trues. You guys are quick. I like it. All right, a lot of trues, and that's correct. True. If you ever notice that one day your balance feels great, you're like, I could walk on a tightrope, I could do a slack line, I'm great. And then the next, you're like learning to walk again. You're like, how did I do this yesterday? That's because lifestyle factors do affect balance. So whether that's just waking up one day and not feeling your best, your equilibrium could be off in your head. Your crystals, your ear crystals. So it could be something deep like that, just one day to the next. It could also just be like your body is just not on par today, like not on point. Sometimes that just happens. Just like one workout could feel good one day and then the next day it doesn't feel so good. That's the same thing with balance. The fourth and last question, the leg muscles are the most important muscles to strengthen when trying to improve balance. True or false? False. Several falses. Oh, some truths. False. Yeah, true. Okay. See some falses, and that's correct. It is false, although the lower body muscles like quads, hamstrings, calves, and ankle muscles play a very crucial role in balance, the core has an essential role in balancing. The lower body and core must act together like a coordinated system in order to maintain stability. So the point in all these questions is to say balance is not easy. There is a lot of factors and a lot of systems that have to work together in order to balance successfully. So because of this, balance is one of the most frustrating things to practice. So next time your balance feels off, or maybe you feel wobbly one day, I just encourage you to have grace for it with yourself. Like Isla and I were talking about, we experience this all the time when we teach classes, or even we were filming these videos for balance exercises, and both of us were like, we totally lost balance in that. We have to re-record it. So it happens, and just remind yourself that it's hard work. Your body has to be working pretty perfectly for these things to all come together. So now we're going to expand on the idea that core plays an essential role in balance. First thing we need to cover is that when we talk about the core, we are not just talking about the six pack, the rectus abdominis, although that's part of it. Especially when it comes to balance, we need to address the entire core, which is made up of a large number of muscles. The main ones being rectus abdominis, which is that, it's actually like an APAC, external and internal obliques, transverse abdominis, which you can think of like a corset, it wraps around your torso. Back muscles, including the erector spinae and multifidus muscles, as well as hip muscles. This includes your pelvic floor, hip abductors, and glute muscles. So lots of things involved. Your diaphragm is also included in your core musculature. So much more complex than just a six pack. Core muscles are in charge of things like protection of the spine with that transverse abdominis, and pelvis, maintaining good posture and body alignment, and providing a strong foundation for your body, which improves balance, steadiness, and overall coordination. So as we saw on our slide earlier, our center of gravity hits right above our pelvis at the center of our bodies, or where our core is. This means the stability starts here. It doesn't start at our ankles or our feet, even though that's what hits the floor. So you can think of your core as an anchor, which a lot of times we think of our feet as that because that's our base and that's what's touching the floor. But if you try to balance on one foot without paying any attention to your core, what do you notice? You notice that your body tries to counterbalance, right? You lose that balance usually because the little muscles in your ankles or even your lower leg cannot be in charge of holding the entirety of your body weight. But when you balance on one foot, prioritizing core engagement, everything starts to quiet down, right? So we're going to try this together. If you're able, I'd love for you to get out of your chair to try this. You won't look crazy doing it. It's not going to be super crazy movement. But I want you to stand up, and without thinking much about it, I want you to just passively shift your weight to your left side from your right foot. So just pick your right foot off the ground. Doing that, what happens? Do you notice you kind of try to counterbalance, right? Your arms may go out to the sides. You might wobble a bit. Your trunk might lean forward, or maybe it goes to the opposite side to kind of provide that counterbalance. If any force were to come along in this zone, you're pretty vulnerable, right? Like anything comes along, you're done for. So now I want you to rest, both feet planted. I want you to take a deep breath in, finding a still object to focus your gaze, whether that's on the floor, the wall. I want you to brace your core as if someone's going to punch you in the gut. And then I want you to shift your weight to your left side and slowly pick up your right foot. What happens? You're able to control it a little more, right? You might still have to set your foot down. You might notice a few wobbles here and there. But when you feel wobbly, your core is going to be the first thing that brings that steadiness back, right? Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your core, the center of your body, that center of gravity. So I want to mention one thing. You can relax if you haven't already. You don't have to balance forever. You may still feel some movement in your ankle when you do that, and that's a good thing. We do have little muscles in our ankles that are in charge of keeping our stability there. They're all firing at once. So all those little wobbles are just those ankles doing their, or just those muscles doing their job. So that doesn't mean you have bad balance. Don't let that wobble distract you. It's pretty rare that we have a very quiet and still ankle in a balanced position. You're probably gonna feel those little wobbles. So now that we can use our core for static balance, not moving, just kind of standing in one place, we can use that in dynamic balance. So take a single leg RDL, for example. This is one where I fall a lot in for these. But if you do that same weight shift and you start in this position, if we lead with our core by sending our hips back, our chest forward, we're going to find that stability a little bit more, rather than if we lead with our shoulders, we're going to rock back and forth and need a stable surface to lean onto, or we're going to lose our balance completely. So that idea of our center of gravity being our core can help us as we want to increase that intensity of balance and increase our proficiency and efficacy in it. So if you want to try that on your own, you're welcome to, but think about leading with that center of your body. So how does balance affect our quality of life, and how can we realistically incorporate balance into our everyday routines? Let's get into it. So I think the reason like I said in the beginning, I get so excited to talk about balance is because I've seen firsthand how improving your balance can impact every part of your life, both mentally and physically. A lot of our hesitation with balance stems from fear without us even knowing. It happens very subconsciously. Our brain signals danger when we see things like uneven sidewalks, stairs, even body weight squats, etc. And because of that, fear, our body compensates movements, again, subconsciously without us having much control over it. So this can be evident maybe when you're climbing stairs, you will notice you'll lean forward into the stairs to provide that counterbalance. I see it a lot in the fitness center in a squat. So a lot of people, even if they have the mobility to squat with their chest high, they squat with their chest low and forward because they feel like when they sit back into a squat, they might fall back. But if we improve our balance with practice, we're able to override those signals in our brain and attack whatever obstacle it is with more confidence. So having that confidence leads to feeling a little bit more capable and willing to engage in those activities. Maybe you are more willing to go on a hike, complete a hard lift because you know that you're strong enough to kind of attack and have that better stability and balance. So with improved balance comes increased muscular strength. Just naturally, we're going to strengthen our core muscles. We're strengthening our leg muscles really from top to bottom. With that increase in strength, a lot of things improve naturally. We're able to better catch ourselves when we trip. Now, of course, none of this means that we will never fall. Falls happen, tripping happens. We are going to do that whether we have amazing balance or not. But if we do trip, when our center of gravity is strong, we are able to react more quickly and effectively. So with the increase in muscular strength and joint health that comes from regular activity, even if we do fall, we are more likely to do so without causing further injury. You're able to catch yourself safer, your joints are stronger, your muscles are able to catch you before you do damage to your joints. Also, the improved core strength from balance practice affects our posture. So we now have the ability to maintain good posture, which leads to less overall pain from a decrease in movement compensations and more effective workouts. So when we strengthen our cores, our back muscles strengthen, all of it strengthens so we can hold that natural or neutral posture longer without those muscles overworking. So now I'm going to pass it to Isla. She is going to talk about how we can realistically incorporate balance into our routines.
Yeah, thank you, Kimber. So now that we all know the importance of balance and how core is involved, it can still be hard to integrate the habit of balance practice into our lives. So I know we're all busy, but we need to find easy and creative ways to add balance into our current routines and everyday life. Because a few minutes here and there is really all that you need. And the goal of this is to sneak the balance practice into what we are already doing without needing extra time. Daily life is full of moments that we're already standing. So you can just utilize those moments to add in some balance practice. It can just be 30 seconds, 60 seconds here or there. Some examples of this are going to be standing on one leg or doing any balance activity that you enjoy while brushing your teeth in the morning or at night or both. You can do it in the line at the store, pumping gas, waiting for the microwave. Really, anytime that you're standing, you can just add in some balance practice. Might feel kind of awkward at first, especially if you're in public, but it doesn't really matter. It can always be a conversation starter. People are wondering what you're doing. You can also do it while doing household tasks. This might be a little bit more of a challenge, like folding laundry or doing the dishes. Obviously, you need to be like careful and safe, but that could be a way to kind of challenge it even extra while you're doing a task. Like I said in the beginning, when I'm teaching a class, my mind is like not really paying attention to the balance. That's when I notice it kind of starts to fail more often. So could be good to practice that. You can even do it on phone calls or Zoom meetings where you don't need to be on camera. You can stand and balance, walk around a little bit. And then there's also tools like a balance disc or a wobble cushion that you can sit on at your desk. The wobble cushion is going to help you engage your core as you're sitting, which, like Kimber said, is going to help your balance and help you learn how to kind of engage it when you're also moving. So it's a good way to do it while you're static first, sitting, and then helps you while you're moving. And another great way that people probably take for granted to work on balance is trying to put on your socks and shoes while you're standing up. Especially if you notice yourself always sitting down to do these tasks, if you try to do it while you're standing, it's definitely can be more challenging than you think. So kind of start small, have something nearby if you need to, but it's a simple and real life test and it can be surprisingly effective. And then also, if you are already doing workouts, even just once a week, that's a great opportunity to add in some extra balance work. So this is about intentionally challenging your balance and stability during exercise to build coordination, control, strength, and also improve your neuromuscular control. So you can add unstable surfaces like a Bosu ball. It's pictured here with the blue surface. That's a Bosu ball. You can add a foam pad or a balance disc to basic movements like squats or lunges, or even something as simple as standing dumbbell curls while you're standing on top of the Bosu. So adding in a little bit of an extra balance challenge while you're doing something that's unrelated. And you might already be challenging your balance during your workouts through single leg exercises. A single leg RDL, like Kimber showed before, with weight can be even harder to balance during that. Step ups are a good way to do it, starting small and then slowly increasing that height of the box. And then also different lunge variations are a great way to add stability. And you're not only training your balance, but you're also training your legs and your coordination and your proprioception. Movement flows like yoga or Tai Chi are also a great way to work on balance and improve mobility. Even short 5-minute flows can be awesome. And then also while you're resting, you can capitalize on your rest periods. Typically, when we're working out, you have plenty of minutes throughout the workout that you're just resting. A lot of people will sit down or scroll, but you can use that opportunity to practice your balance through something simple like just standing on one leg. So you can choose any balance exercise you like and add that in. And then also slowing down your movements can make it harder if you're doing a lunge and you go very slow on the way down and very slow on the way up. That's going to increase the time under tension and forces those stabilizing muscles, as Kimber was talking about, to work a little bit harder. And then last one on that is just at making sure that you're adding core exercises into your workouts. Like Kimber said before, adding intentional core workouts is going to be very beneficial. So we need to continue to work on balance often throughout the lifetime. So building a habit is going to be the easiest way for you to remember to do it and just continue to do it and add it into your life. So when we build habits, it makes it easier if we make it playful, it's something consistent, or if you need more structure, you can even set timers or reminders that might be more beneficial for you. So to make it more playful and engaging, you can walk on curbs or parking lines. You can heel toe walk as you're just going to the car in any parking lot you want. Dancing is a really good way, if you like to dance, to build dynamic balance and coordination. So that can be fun, maybe get you to do it a little bit more. If you have a standing desk, you can do those weight shifts like Kimber was just showing you. You can stand on one leg or even use a balance board at your desk, and it can also keep you moving and kind of keep your mind focusing on your work. Sometimes like I like to fidget, so doing something like that kind of helps me as I'm moving. And then another way to make it fun is gamifying it. You can test your balance for yourself. You can see if you can go a little bit farther than yesterday or a longer time, or you can even challenge a friend or a coworker or a family member, kind of make it social and a competition if you're a bit more competitive. And then if you need structured reminders, you can set a balance break timer for 1 to 2 times per day. Just a minute of a standing balance challenge could also wake up your nervous system and improve your posture. So especially if you're doing it, if you're starting to get tired at work, just get up and try a balance exercise for a minute. It might wake you up. And then joining a Cube Fit class, you can add the reminder to your calendar, and that's like a set time. You just have to get on and work on your balance. That's also a great way to do it. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a separate workout. You can weave it into what you're already doing, make it pretty easy that way. And when practiced consistently, it'll add up over time and you'll see improvement in stability, confidence, and even your brain-body connection. So the reason all of this works is because you are habit stacking. You're adding balance to your daily life and adding it on to tasks that you're already doing that are already automatic. So it's going to habit stacking is a strategy that links a new desired habit, which would be balance, to an existing automatic behavior, which would be like brushing your teeth. You're already doing that. You do it every single day, twice a day. So that's the automatic behavior. And it's going to make the new habit easier to stick and perform and sustain over time because you're already attaching them to the routines that you're doing every day. So it works because your brain has already recognized the first habit, the brushing the teeth, as an existing routine. So by adding the new behavior to it, you're tapping into established neural pathways, making the new habit easier to stick with without needing to plan or remember it. So instead of carving out extra time, you're layering it on something that's already automatic. And this is going to cue you to work on the balance automatically. So you're removing barriers. There's no need to plan or schedule, takes out the decision fatigue of when am I going to add the balance in. You just are automatically going to start doing it while you're brushing your teeth, while you're pumping gas. You're just going to add in a balance challenge and it'll become more and more natural as you go on. So the key is to start small and then stay consistent. So even just 30 seconds can begin to rewire your brain. And over time, the balance practice is going to become automatic as the habit as it's attached to. So every single time you brush your teeth, you're going to also automatically lift one leg up and practice balance. So, and each of the habits that I've listed on these previous slides are all examples of habit stacking. So like brushing your teeth, pumping gas, standing in line, anything like that. Anytime that you have a moment standing or whatever habit, you can do it while you're making your coffee, anything like that. So then we have a few balance exercises. Like Kimber said, we linked to these videos, so you can find them in the slides that we are going to post. But these are just simple exercises with no equipment. And if you need help figuring out different balance exercises or these aren't challenging you, you can talk to me or Kimber or any of your fitness center staff members, and we can help build you like a personal balance challenge plan for yourself. Yeah, and then I'll go over the Cube Fit classes. So we have a variety of different Cube Fit classes, and probably all of them, or one way or another, are going to challenge your balance. But we have a few specific classes that are going to be great to work on balance. The balance break, Pilates or bar, and then the different kinds of yoga classes, and then the core class specifically to be working on your core. So you can either join them live or watch the recordings whenever it fits in for you.
So thanks, Isla.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I know we took you right to time, but we're going to hang out for a few questions. I know I see one in the chat. It's just Tai Chi with a question mark. So are you wondering what Tai Chi is or how Tai Chi helps? Might be typing, or you might have dropped because I know a few people had dropped. You might be able to describe Tai Chi better, Isla, but it is a very slow moving form of exercise that actually incorporates balance in probably every single movement. We have actually tried a Cube Fit Tai Chi class in the past. It didn't gain a ton of traction, and our program manager that was certified in Tai Chi is no longer with our team. So we have done that before though, and I'm sure if you did join it, it was fun. It's a challenging form of exercise, but it can be really helpful for centering and balancing and core strength. So it can be kind of almost like a meditative class and form of exercise. So we always keep that in the back of our minds for a Cube Fit class, but it's a hard one to find instructors for. Thank you all for joining. We'll stay on, like I said, we will share the slides. We'll post them all in this chat and on Slack as well. Thank you all for joining. Thank you. All right, everyone, if there's no questions, I'm going to end it for all of us. Thank you for joining. Please reach out if you need anything. We'd be happy to help.